Another week, another set of games, another time you unfortunately have to see myself and Daramus on your screens. And, well, it's an El Clasico of the Swiss scene today, isn't it, Daramus?
Yeah, absolutely. We got mYinsanity versus VisionGaming, which should have happened last week, but got postponed for certain reasons that I wasn't really paying attention to in the green room about. But yeah, quite a matchup that's been causing a lot of production pain in the background. So we are going to be 100% biased for the first time in a series where we want VisionGaming to just, absolutely, to just sweep the floor with mYinsanity. I mean, I've been relatively neutral, I think, across the board. I feel like today is definitely going to be one of those days where I am feeling red, you know?
Oh, okay. Well, you know what? I think red is a good way of putting it, because there's a lot of teams who are almost finding themselves in the red zone of the Ibex League, the red bit where you don't want to be. It's called the relegation zone, and if we can have a look at our league table, we're going to see exactly where mYinsanity is and how far they are off of that. Now, it's not getting too dangerous for them just yet. The downside to this here, Daramus, is they essentially have to win this match. There is no really way around it. They win this, they stay in that playoffs contention. They stay with a contention to, you know, stay up here. They lose this, and well, things start to get a little bit more of a different conversation.
Yeah, it's very close in these top, like from second place down to sixth. It's all a fight, and with mYinsanity's head-to-head, it's looking a bit tragic for them. They need to get a result absolutely in the table. Now, VisionGaming, we're comfortable. I think if we lose this series, it's not a big deal for us. I feel like the playoffs is very much secured for us, but again, it's all about that seeding, isn't it, Hodge?
Yeah, it definitely is, right? When you go to the playoffs, you know, you play better or worse teams depending on what your seeding is. So you want to be getting that number one seed there, that T2 currently holds. But as you can see, you know, it's not looking like it's possible. I don't know. Is it possible? No idea. I'm not the mathematician here. VisionGaming, however, are going to try and pick up as many wins as they possibly can. And obviously, because things were postponed, VisionGaming do have one less game week than everybody else, and same for mYinsanity. So the table's a little bit disjointed. It's time to realign it here, Daramus, today. Let's talk about the journey for both of these teams. Let's talk about the road that they have been on across, you know, their season so far, and see, you know, who's had the harder road, who, you know, is really going to have to step up in their final couple of weeks. And we'll have a look at mYinsanity's road on the left, VisionGaming's on the right. What's really standing out to you here between both of these teams?
I mean, mYinsanity, they got two relatively easy wins in the first couple of weeks, let's be honest. Dive a 3-2 and Ladies First a 3-0, but Dive, they've lost every single series so far in the league, and they're not really getting up off the ground anytime soon, neither. So that 3-2 was very debatable for mYinsanity very early on. It was already throwing a bit of caution signs for them. Ladies First, though, a 3-0 result for them, relatively simple. I feel like Ladies First, they've been lacking on that front. Sat in 7th at the moment. T2, a 3-1 loss, showing signs of being able to take a game off the top spot, but again, not to be. And Nap on Money, a best of 5 again. You know, this mYinsanity side loves taking it. Loves taking it to 5, it seems. And, well, they've managed to have a 50% success rate at that point. Now, VisionGaming, we're up next. The way we've been performing, as you take a look on my right-hand side, we've had 3 wins and 1 loss, and every win that we've had has been pretty comfortable here.
Yeah, I think that's very much safe to say. It really feels like when they turn up, they turn the hell up, and when you know, they're not so hot, they're kind of a bit flat and deflated. But let's hope it is the first option here today, because we want another win, and we want to continue to charge up that league table here, Daramus. But you know, mYinsanity, big week for them, needing to win to stay in you know, competition for playoffs here, but it's not just a big week here for VisionGaming in this first series against mYinsanity. They're also going to have to play Nap on Money afterwards.
Yeah, exactly, and that's literally coming straight after, right? We've got this game, and then in an hour's time, we'll have Nap on Money, so we'll very much be in competitive form. And it all depends on how this result goes with mYinsanity. If we lose it, it's a different mindset heading into that next game. It's a special double-header week this week, obviously, because of the postponements. But with Nap on Money, yeah, that's going to be an interesting game because I'm pretty sure they're currently sat in 4th in the league table. No, I'm making that up. They're sat in 6th. They're sat in 6th. Okay, I'm tired. I'm just on a journey home. But yeah, back to the league table. There you go. Nap on Money in 6th, looking to stay away from that relegation spot in 7th, which I think they're comfortable now. They're both kind of like in that region where they're gonna have to fight for playoffs, but it's almost an impossible task for both of them.
Yeah. It does start to feel that way a little bit here. They would have to, really put on a performance from now to that sort of point here to really make that happen here. And we'll see if they're going to be able to. But for now, let's have a look at some of the stats here, Daramus, and see really what is making the difference, who's making the difference, and some of the numbers and the calculations that really overwhelm me.
My favorite stat to really look at is the shots to goal conversion. Basically, how successful you are in front of net whenever you're taking that shot. And you look at VisionGaming, it's looking a bit, you may see 27, 28% and think, hold on a minute, it's a bit rough for the boys, don't you think? But Mackie coming out with 35.14%. And you got to think the amount of shots we're actually taking per game for that to happen. We've been such an offensive side throughout the past couple of weeks. But yeah, it's been pretty good for VisionGaming. So looking at that stat, I say we're quite comfortable. Shots per goal for the other side, though. mYlox with a 36.84% conversion rate. He's sat 6th in that side. 26.19 for Kiva. There's quite a disparity there. And you can see who the star player would be looking out for today. Based on that stat alone, mYlox might be taking up several of the goals here today.
Yeah, well, certainly so. I believe, however, we are almost ready to go, and I believe almost is an understatement because we are. Everybody is in the lobby, so it's time to kick things off. It's time to head to our hype chamber. It is time to let Kiki kick things off here for game number 1 of our double header weekend.
The nobility of Switzerland, mYinsanity, the heir to the throne. One final chance to save their kingdom or miss out on playoffs. VisionGaming stands in their way, the vessel of chaos, laid waste to all who opposed it. One step away from securing the top 4, chaos seeks the throne, and to that, the nobles of mYinsanity say, come and take it.
Thank you, Kiki, and hello, ladies and gentlemen. We have coverage for you live here at DFH Stadium for game number 1 in the series, mYinsanity versus VisionGaming. Both sides looking to take decent results. And mYinsanity, they're going to have to keep fighting here for playoff contention. VisionGaming, they're looking to keep on the hunt, keep putting pressure on T2 at that top spot, because we all know in week number 7, that will be the final matchup. Game number 1 on your screens here, Hodge.
Well, I think you need to brush up on your map knowledge. I think VisionGaming might need to brush up on their defense, because early on, getting caught off guard, kick-off goal, Norwalk will quite happily plunge this past the last and final player. And well, what a way to open the series, right? Between these two orgs, between these two teams, it's always fireworks.
Yeah, map knowledge, Manfield, my bad, whoops. They're very similar looking, okay? You cannot have a go at me for that one, surely. But yeah, we start a 1-0 deficit on the kickoff, and a second one from Kiva, not quite converting there.
Yeah, well, they're both Rocket League pitches at the end of the day. They both have grass. They both have walls. They both have a ceiling. They're both in a stadium. And both of these teams are top Swiss contenders here. One of them performing a little bit better than the other right now, but I think mYinsanity, they're going to look to change that. They're going to look to turn the tides. They're going to look to try and secure themselves a second goal. Zeko, though, Gonna quite happily pick that one up, but hang on a second, that's a missed touch. Gonna have some quick reactions, and thankfully VisionGaming do. But already a little bit more, but hang on a second, never mind, I was going to say a little bit more troubled of a start than they would have liked to, but an infield pass from Zeko, get things back over to Selt, and it's a quick 1-2 for the equaliser.
Yeah, perfectly weighted pass there by Zico, making it 1-1, gets a beat out on 2 defenders on that back line, and that was wide open there for Selt to take that. No doubt in my mind that he would miss that, and Selt then, feeling the rhythm, didn't quite get anything on that ceiling, so mYinsanity will send this back the other way. These underlings struggling to catch the gaze of the ball, and there's a whiff in the midfield, and now looking past the keeper. The net's wide open again here, and it's a good save by Selt on that recovery.
Yeah, it certainly is. Kiva gonna launch up for this one and try and collect it, bring it down, allow his teammates to play those 50s. Cycle those rotations one by one. Still keeping at a 1-1 scoreline so far. Both of these teams going to look to break that, and well, Zeko is going to look to pick up the pace here on this attack. Kiva, it's one touch to the back wall, but there's no follow-up, and that is going to spur things into disarray here. VisionGaming picking up a second. mYinsanity a little bit careless there.
Yes, maybe it's early signs of crumbling under the pressure for mYinsanity, but then again, very early to call. But fantastic plays by VisionGaming, going 1-0 down early on, pulled it back in 2 minutes time just to give themselves an advantage. Selt pops it past 1, gets a beat on 2. This should be a good attack for Zico here. Another great infield pass. Maki hitting that one a bit too hard off the nose. Zico on the rotation back does cut that ball. Nawok with a 50 with Maki that will allow Selt to carry this downfield. Has an opportunity. 50'd well. Zico looking to find a follow touch, but mYinsanity with a clear on that back line.
Yeah, clearing on that back line, trying to sort of stem some of the bleeding here, and well, you know, being able to, but now it's about getting out of this corner, getting out of this right-hand sort of half, it feels like, that they've been stuck in whenever mYinsanity want to try and create an attack out of nothing. They will head back over to Maki here, and Zeko try and get it back down to his teammate. It's an interception, and a deceptive one at that, but Selt can't quite slot it top right. We'll go back over to the midfield line, and VisionGaming going to work on some of their passing between each other while mYinsanity just try and break free.
Aggie not getting a touch to that one. Selt though.
What's this?
Pass to Zico. There's a great call-off play. Is the double tap there? Is there? What? What happened to the defense of mYinsanity?
mYinsanity, they just fell over like dominoes. Honestly, one by one. VisionGaming just styling on them, playing that fake to perfection, and scoring that third goal here, upping the deficit to 2 against mYinsanity. And I mean, this is starting to get out of hand a little bit here for mYinsanity. I'm thinking back towards last season's matchup where, you know, we built all that hype up for it, and once again it was a similar situation, you know, win and mYinsanity keep their hopes alive, lose and can be eliminated. They got 3-0'd last time. Is Maki about to try and hammer home the same story?
Plenty of power, mYinsanity. Well, plenty of power. VisionGaming are holding on mYinsanity at the moment. 4-1, a minute 36, and what started off as a very nervy sign for VisionGaming has been shrugged off immediately here, as we still have plenty of time left to go. Potentially more goals here. Selt has a free opportunity towards net. mYinsanity though will pick that one up, looks for a pass inside. Kiva has that touch upfield, maybe to try and find a little something here, a little momentum to go the other way, but again, a bit of a nothing touch in the midfield there for mYinsanity. They're falling back, and they're just struggling here to form an attack after that initial one that they had in the first minute or so.
Yeah, they really are. I think VisionGaming are just beating them to the punch time and time again, but this is where they can maybe punch back, but mYinsanity is sort of not really punched out, just more swept out to the side, and it really shows the levels that these teams are having to go to really get anything. For VisionGaming, it's more of just, you know, a bit of a breeze to the side, you know, just a little whisk of the wrist, and for mYinsanity, they're having to fight tooth and nail brutally to try and get anything from this VisionGaming side. Selt testing mYinsanity on the goal line once again, and as that time it ticks down, things are just getting more and more out of control.
Zico. Pass inside again, and Mackie will find a double. It's going to flow awkwardly with Selby there. Fakes it out to grab the boost. So it'll make mYinsanity struggle to get forward. Cell has an opportunity here. Flip reset. Doesn't quite do anything with it after that challenge by mYlox. Mackie then with a touch into the corner. Back in field it'll go. It's a great pass, but no one's going to be there for VisionGaming. Sat back. Don't really need to push for anything here. They've got a 3-goal advantage, and with 5 seconds left, it looks like game 1 is going the way of VisionGaming, which is a perfect start for the boys.
Yeah, quite handily too, as that ball drops onto the grassy ground of not DFH Stadium, Manfield Night. And we have our first game decided for VisionGaming here. 1-0 up in the series here, Daramus. mYinsanity, if I'm honest, they looked a little bit flat there for the most part.
Yeah, all it was a kick-off goal, and apart from that, everything else was just downfield, downhill.
3 seconds of hope.
Sorry?
3 seconds of hope.
Yeah, 3 seconds of hope. And apart from that, it all fell off a cliff. 6 saves to mYlox. That is what gave mYinsanity's best player performance. But we've had 14 shots to go with that. So no matter how many saves you attempt on that back line, you're going to falter, right? Because mYinsanity, they've only had 6 shots in that game. Just incredibly poor up front. They struggle to get upfield, and this is good. This is the hate train that we're on today. I don't care who you are. If you're watching on the VisionGaming stream, you're going to get VisionGaming bias. And this is a perfect start for us heading into Forbidden Temple. Will we see a continue of form, or will we start to see a few cracks?
That's the question that we ask ourselves here on the Temple. And VisionGaming are going to look to already ramp up the aggression here, which is really saying something considering how in their face they were to the likes of mYinsanity in game number 1. And this time, a little bit of punch back from mYinsanity in the first 30 seconds, but nothing really that damaging. And it's Zeko taking it from the back wall. Flip reset pass over to his teammate Kiva in the back lines, ready to save that one away.
Really loving these infield passes at the minute, and it's really good to see them being played out. But eventually mYinsanity are going to get accustomed to that, so a solo play would be the way forward from there on, because they're covering that infield play. Now, as I say that, there is an opportunity for mYinsanity, not converted. Kiva does manage to find the bottom right though, and we're back to a 1-0 deficit, but this time it's taking a bit longer for them to get it done.
Yeah, it's one of those situations, 2v1, no boost. It really is a difficult play there for Celt. You know, do you just dive it? Do you just see what happens? Or do you sort of wait that out patiently? And I think you've just got to go for that there. And, you know, Celt, although made the right choice, probably just wasn't quite able to get the touch. And just one of those things there. mYinsanity having to score that, certainly taking the opportunity. But now, what does the pushback look like? It looks like Zeko. It looks like an infield pass. It looks like Narwhal is not having any more of those here. mYinsanity learning from their mistakes, but for how long? Because we've seen the same sort of plays reproduced from VisionGaming time and time again, and time again it has worked out for them.
It absolutely has. So we'll just send this one downfield. mYlox was already prepared for it. Mackie taking time. Like a chess game. Bishops, castles, and queens. Slowly moving forward. Just no need to really panic at this stage. It's Self. Carry this downfield. A bump in the midfield. Allow this solo play to happen. Another bump potentially here on Narwhal, but cleared away. But this will open up space. 50 into the corner. Mackie like a boost will challenge for this. And it's a great challenge at that. Will keep the pressure on mYinsanity. Can they get this ball out? That's the next question. Kiva like a boost, looking a bit awkward. Narwhal will get there, but Mackie's reading it. Not quite. A bit too slow in that play, and on there. Looking a bit dangerous at the moment, but recovered well by Self there.
Yeah, good bump onto Narwhal there. That's going to, you know, slow down the play here, slow down the counter-attack for mYinsanity. And Mackie had to get that touch, had to make contact, and certainly did. Narwhal going to be sent right back to the other side of the field to take this off of his own ceiling. Doesn't really have the boost, so opts for the ceiling pinch. And over to Kiva it will go. And mYinsanity squad, you know, they're no strangers to success. They won the Ibex Cup back in November with, you know, this sort of roster, so they can reach these heights, and you know they can stand up to the Titans like VisionGaming. It's just about doing it when it matters, and this is certainly one of those times.
I do love a best of 5 mYinsanity, and it's whether or not how much they're willing to sacrifice here to try and get that best of 5. Celt leaving that for maki. Lack of boost for maki though. Picks up in the corner, will allow a charge forward. Zico just try to get there, but this is what I mean. They're reading that infield pass now a bit more. They're challenging it, but that's a double commit on the back lines. mYlock's lack of boost, 50. Not going the right way for Celt there. You'd love to see it killed off somewhat. Maki should get to this, does so. Kiva left awkward now, and Nawak on that front post. Left uncomfortable, but the perfect spawn for mYlock's to get rid of Celt there.
Yeah, bumped away from the play and bumped away from the clock as well. That timer is going to continue to deplete with every second that, mYinsanity keep VisionGaming at bay, but every second that happens is every second that VisionGaming get more and more angry and want to ramp things up once again. Maki looking to try and find the infield over to Celt. Zeko now to throw it on the back wall, recognizing the shot couldn't be played, but Maki will just play it slow, play it over 2 players, and VisionGaming, it's ones across the board.
Wow. If that's the goal that we need to score, I mean, I'll absolutely take it. It's found the top left. In the eyes of anyone, that's a perfect shot. Maki slotting that one away, and mYinsanity, you're going to want to hear your tears roll down your cheek here. Because once you conceded that last goal in game 1, you ended up conceding 3 more in quick succession, but they're charging forward. Nothing much to come of it as of yet, but Celt has the boost taken away from him in mYinsanity's back corner. Maki will send this to the backboard. Nawak left awkward. Will get a touch, but Zico with a controlled one gets a good 50, and the pressure's back on here.
Yeah, it certainly is. Nawak will fall off of the back wall there, and that's going to allow a pressure point here to be capitalized on by VisionGaming. Maki sets himself up, sinks it into the back of the mYinsanity net. And VisionGaming, they can do it all by themselves, they can do it as a team, and they can do it, well, I guess wherever they are on the pitch here. Daramus looking to try and take this second game, looking to try and put themselves on match point. What a way to do it.
Done with the air, it's going to leave the ball awkward, the net's wide open, it's going to be an equalizer, 2-2 with 18 seconds left to go. Kiva being the one credited for that, but mYlock's managing to get that beat was just enough. And the defense of VisionGaming ended up wayward. We had Maki at the halfway line, expecting a beat, expecting a different ball entirely. However, not to be. We're all level again at Forbidden Temple. But this time, mYinsanity have the momentum. Nawak will have the kick up. It'll head towards the back of the net and saved away by Maki. And the follow-up needs to be there. Zico does well.
Yeah, the follow-up needed to be there from both teams. mYinsanity weren't quick enough. VisionGaming were, but can mYlock really add a dagger at the end of this game? It's a pinch downfield. Nawak's got to react to this, and will happily get this one swept over to the side. It's fireworks at the depth, and maybe we'll get one more set of dynamite before we head to overtime, as Celt looks to try and slot it, but it's brought to the ground. And overtime is in session. I thought this was over before it started, and yes, I just have to remind myself that this is a Swiss competition.
I want VisionGaming fighting for me now. I want all the prowess to come out, put this game number 2 to bed, and think about getting a sweep. As this ball is knocked downfield, Nawak will pick up the pieces, descend it back the other way, but Maki waiting patiently. That's a brilliant touch, will carry it. And Kiva getting that clear, but for a split second there, I thought Maki was taking that all the way.
Yeah. Well, all the way into overtime we go. That's going to drop down. Celt over to that corner. Maki up for this controlled touch. Going to look to try and stay on it. Going to look to play that reset. But Kiva going to look to deny and does successfully. Celt on this back wall going to be bumped off. That's a risky touch middle. Somebody's got to be there. That extra touch almost brought an extra, I guess, a set of madness into the equation there for VisionGaming and almost sealed their fate. But Celt a good spawn here. Going to allow VisionGaming to play off of this counter-attack, and Nawak back in field. Kiva, good touch, but there's not really anybody there to follow, so this should be a free exit route for VisionGaming. And it's just a little bit of both teams setting up good plays, but not really being in synchronization to capitalize on and make them happen. My goodness, what is that?
If you're looking to impress, entertain, or be of use, mYinsanity definitely not doing that. Their backline disappears. 3-2 to VisionGaming after a minute 16 of overtime. It was just an open net slot here, Hodge. There was nothing more to it. rotations all over the place, and it was just a free opportunity from the back corner, sniped away. Vision Gaming 3, mYinsanity 2, and it's 2-0 in the series to the boys in red.
Dare I say, that looked more like a platinum rank game, that overtime. But I mean, it is the Swiss scene. Anything can happen. And I mean, if we saw something a couple of weeks ago, we had people own goaling from the ceiling. So, like, you know, anything's possible here, Daramus. But now we go to game number 3. Will this be sweep Sunday here for Vision Gaming? It's time to find out. We're going to go on to the FH Stadium finally. And there you go. We'll get an answer to that question.
I knew it was coming eventually. I almost pressed to join mYinsanity. That would have been tragic. They wouldn't want me on any day of the week.
Do you think you can win the series from this point? Like, I reckon I'd back you for one of the 3 games, you know?
Yeah, I mean, maybe. If we end up 4v3ing Vision Gaming, it definitely would have been fine. Maggie, though, from the kickoff, looking to do something himself. Selt will pop himself a Zico, and it's a good little team play there to split the defense apart. Pass up high, Selt with a pass to Maggie. Maggie's challenge, that's the last man defense challenge. The net's wide open again, and for the 3rd time in 3 games, we go behind. This time, a blatant mistake by Maggie.
Yeah, blatant mistake. Those mistakes happen, and it's about how you bounce back from those incidents, those mistakes. mYinsanity getting the first for the 3rd time in a row. This time, can they get anything from it?
Second kickoff, and the pressure is the way of mYinsanity. Keep looking to get a tip pass. One, that was a brilliant shot. Oh my.
Oh my. It is a brilliant shot. It's not a shot I really want to watch the replay of, but it is a great shot nonetheless. And mYinsanity doubling down on their lead. First time they've been able to do this in this series so far. Is this a little bit of a wake-up call for them? Trying to get themselves back into the series, would need a reverse sweep from this point and would need to sort of silence some of these players that have been popping off. Maki, Selt and Zeko have all really put in equal amounts of worth here on the pitch and have been worth their weight in gold, that's for sure. But a minute into this game and, well, maybe, you know, the value of the gold has just decreased a little bit, put it that way. But how can you pick that back up, Daramus? Tell us what Vision Gaming need to do.
Well, they've got to sort the defense out at the minute. Yeah, I mean, a demo did allow that to happen. But, again, they're just looking a bit patchy at the back. But I guess you could afford to when you be upfield for the majority of the game. Now, however, you're going to have to turn your tides a little bit, see how well you do in defense. But Celt's going to carry this. Looks for the bomb, finds it, 2-1. And we've clawed one back, and there's still 3.5 minutes left to go. Brilliant bit of an individual talent there by Selt. Gets a flick pass. Now got nothing he could do because a homing missile was honed towards him and found perfectly.
That's just a risky play that mYinsanity quite literally don't need to go for. You're 2 goals up, and you've got somebody infield passing while your teammate is pre-jumping to try and get the beat. It didn't work out, and it instantly punished in the 1v1 there by Selt. mYinsanity, a little bit of a reality check here, and maybe they're about to get a second one. But no, it's swept out to the sides. Kiva going to try and look to stay on this play. Selt will take things back, take things to the back wall. Milox on the ceiling, a target to work with. But 3 minutes still left. Very playable for both teams from this situation. It's just about calming things down, and, well, maybe mYinsanity don't really want to do that.
So, you know, they're keeping the ball in the corner, which will dwindle timeout, but we know how quickly this ball can change. Zico has a chance, the star player of this side, the mechanical player at that, and it's a flip reset downfield, a double tap, not going to be converted by Maki there. Milox had that covered. Zico, looking for individual again, gets a flick pass, a pass inside. Selt couldn't find it. Position of mYinsanity was looking all right, but that drop down could be dangerous. An individual strike by Zico again. More pressure on the mYinsanity defense. Selt controlled, pops up high, gets a beat on one. Milox, the last ditch effort to get that clear, does well. And the ball back in the opposite corner here.
Well, it seems that the FH Stadium has been converted into the Vision Gaming merry-go-round here. But let's see if it will be a merry and jolly time for them at the end of this play, because still can't quite shoot it. Zeko trying to fly in, hits the woodwork. 2 minutes left here. Excuse me. And Vision Gaming needs something.
Oh, poor touch by Zico! And that's a simple mistake. Got so confused as to where that ball would land, and realized that the net was in front of him, fell off the net, and as simple as that, we're back down by 2. So this could very well be a game for mYinsanity here. And, I don't like that thought. I don't like that thought process of a reverse sweep, so maybe try and put this one to bed. That's a good demo on the back line, but again, Kiva was picking that one up, and it was perfectly fine. Cleared away to the halfway line.
Yeah, Vision Gaming starting to go for some more of these risky plays now, and they sort of need to with how much time's left on the clock. Milok slots it. Vision Gaming put behind by another goal. And mYinsanity are going to be quite happy to continue to rack up this goal count, continue to show why they should still be in this series. And, you know, continue to give us less time on a break screen. So that's any time that we're not on a break screen in between the 2 games is good enough for me. So you know what? This goes 5 as long as Vision Gaming win. I'm not bothered.
Not bothered. I'm not bothered.
I'm not bothered. I'm not bothered.
2026 World Darts Championship. Now, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind this one.
Are you bothered?
You know, dropping a game. I'm not bothered. I'm not bothered. That is a mistake. That's a strike by Self. Nothing to come of it. Keep goes in patiently. But what I will say is that mYinsanity have warmed up to this game, warmed up to this series quite well, and we've kind of faltered a little bit here in this 3rd game. But I'm sure it's nothing that we can't shrug off heading into game number 4. And maybe a consolation goal here or there to really switch the momentum up heading into that 4th game as well, but we'll just have to wait to see. 37 seconds left, this ball floating about in our half once more.
Yeah, well, 30 seconds still to play with, and you have to imagine this one is wrapped up, but Vision Gaming, you know, they've made miracles happen before. We'll see if anything can happen, but no, that thing's pretty much going to seal it. We're going to head to game number 4, and Daramus is going to unlock a new map here that he can try and get the name right off. Where are we going next, Daramus?
Well, I don't know the map rotation after game 3, was it? Manfield, Forbidden Temple, DHF, and I think it's Utopia Coliseum up next.
You are correct, but you did also say the DFH Stadium's name wrong, Ethan.
Did I say DHF? Oh my goodness,
Yes.
oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness. My goodness. Well, we're going to head into Utopia Coliseum next, not DHF Stadium. Sounds like a sofa company or something.
That's what I'm thinking in my head. What's the sofa company called?
DFS, is that it?
I think it is DFS. I keep like, but even then, I don't say an S in DH.
Oh, who cares? Whatever. Anyway, I mean, it has been a pretty good game so far from Vision Gaming, and there's still time for them to really salvage this here, because mYinsanity, excuse me, they're starting to push back. I think game 4 is a crucial game here, Daramus, where we see Vision Gaming, you know, is going to sort of, you know, silence them before they get rolling here, because if they go into game number 5 on a 2-win streak, it's all up in the air.
Indeed, and my ears are perked up as we head into Utopia Coliseum. I am well prepared for what's about to happen. I can see mYinsanity scoring the first goal again, because it's happened 100% of the games we've played so far. We've only managed to convert one of them though, remember, so Mackie, look to try and shake this up. Hopefully we can get a starting goal for once and not try and fight from behind.
Would be nice. Would definitely be nice. And I mean, it really does seem like it has been the mYinsanity show in the first 30 seconds, and after that it's Vision Gaming's usually time to shine, but not last game. Last game was a little bit different. Maybe they did the whole Vision Gaming thing where they get a little bit confident and start throwing. I've seen that many times before, and maybe we're seeing it in game 4 is here as a missed touch comes through, but hang on a second, why are we passing it to the opponents? Okay, Narwhal's able to collect that one, and also fake out the second, and also attempt to get past Naki as well, but won't be as successful on that attempt. Vision Gaming going to bring that over to the midfield, and, you know, just try and cycle this attack.
Yeah, that was a wasted ball by Zico there. Had plenty of time to touch it, carry it downfield, and play a 50, but decided to bang it instead. mYinsanity has a touch. We'll send this one back the other way, and Self will control this, carry this one downfield. Bit of a rough touch, though, as Kiba was already reading that pass. Zico, though, akin to that, gets a 50 on the second. mYinsanity will get a touch up high, and it's kind of floated about in the midfield. Self does get a touch, but again, it's going to be a bit of a nothing one, as mYinsanity left as the last line of defense again. I'd like to see mYinsanity upfield a bit more, though, because in the last game, that's all he did was sit back in defense. Zico, little style of play, doesn't get that flick past Kiva, who had 0 boost to work with. That could have been a clear-cut opportunity there for them, just not converted again.
Yeah, I mean, the difference between these two teams, right, VisionGaming is bringing the aggression. So far in this series, they've had an average per game of 10.6 shots a game. And here's another one. But the downside to this, Daramus, is, you know, their average shooting percentage has been 25. Whereas, you know, mYinsanity, it's not been brilliant. It's been 31, but they've been making the shots count a little bit more. So I'd say for VisionGaming, while they still are winning the series, if you want to really take over the series, start hitting those shots.
But mYinsanity does have a free backboard, but it's a double commit by mYinsanity to get that ball downfield, and it's a lucky touch because that bump came in just after the ball got touched there. And if that bump came in any earlier, you're looking at a decent threat for VisionGaming as well. But on knockdown field, mYinsanity is up there lurking for that redirect, but it's a misplay, and oh my goodness, I thought mYinsanity was going to land on it, but mYinsanity was composed, just sat there with the controller on the ground, managed to pick it up, and we're back in the midfield once more. mYinsanity with that break of the line, though, will carry this forward, does have an opportunity, but Zico knows better than to panic in those situations, gets that ball out, and Selt now carrying it back to the midfield line.
Well, up to this side wall it will go as Selt takes it from that corner. No goals just yet for both of these teams, but there's not really much pressure here from mYinsanity, and thank God there wasn't, otherwise that would have been an immediate goal. The mYinsanity weren't quite on the same wavelength, and VisionGaming's defense isn't on any wavelength at all, apparently. They need to sort that out. Selt, what? Okay, well, it's 1-0 to mYinsanity. VisionGaming apparently needs some glasses, or some contact lenses. Specsavers it is after this series before the break.
Yeah, excuse my astonishment, that just wasn't what I expected at all, but that's been sent heavily towards the backboard. Nawok isn't going to get there, Selt's going to find the open net. We're back level again, but for the 4th time in 4 games, mYinsanity have scored first.
Yeah, you know, they just want to keep the streak going, you know? Just let them have it, and then Selt, a bit of redemption immediately. Love it.
Well, 3rd kickoff of game 4. Much later in the game than what we've seen in the previous, and mYinsanity just stealing it away from Selt there. Keep it going. Zico, lack of boost, has to play a 50 here. It's going to bounce dangerously into the mid. Selt with a good beat. It's back in the corner, and Zico does get a touch, and that's a bump of a teammate there. As Kiva gets sent backwards, and Nawok missing the touch. So there's one thing I will say, is that Zawok's not doing too great in the air neither, I've realized, in this game, and we can keep him being the first to challenge, and I feel like we could get more opportunities in this game. But with 40 seconds left, it's been a heavy midfield battle for both sides, and whoever comes out on top on that midfield battle, as you see there, gets the goal, and Nawok will be the one to slot it.
Well, not once this season has VisionGaming been taken to Champions Field, been taken to Game 5 of a best of 5. mYinsanity might be about to face them with that reality, face them with the reality of a reverse sweep, and, well, have a chance to make that reality a reality. But that didn't really make sense. But anyway, moving on. We move. 20 seconds left for VisionGaming to find themselves an equalizer. Celt's on that sidewall. Zeko is as well. It's very crowded here, this section of the map. VisionGaming. Pop high for Selt. Good bump, but Nawok is already up for that. And the speed has been brought to mYinsanity And now we need to see, you know, them bring it on game 5 as well, because Champions Field is awaiting us here unless somebody can find something at the death here for Vision Gaming. They cannot. It is game 5, it is Champions Field, it is a showdown under the stars. It is there for all the marbles.
Now it is the first best of 5 we've had in the league this year at all. And it's mYinsanity's third best of 5 in the season. They've had more experience under this sort of pressure, and like I said, they've had a 50% success rate in those best of 5s. Granted, there's only been 2 of them.
But it's success rate now. It's essentially win and you save your season, lose, you can't make playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely, and this is a huge game for mYinsanity. For Vision Gaming, we can kind of shrug this one off heading to nap on money, but mYinsanity, they're playing with their hearts on the table, with their cards all revealed, and Vision Gaming, I don't know what's happened since game 2, but like, it looks like their Weetabix have run out.
Well, let's see. The Weetabix might have run out, but maybe it's time for. I was going to make a cereal joke, but I'm just not going to go there. Let's get Game 5 started. Let's head on to Champions Field, and you know what? Let's see who is ready to shred their opponent. I was going to make a Shreddies joke. Never mind. Champions Field. Here we go. The banners fly high, but. While one team had their banner flying high at the top of the Swiss scene in the Ibex League Cup, they've struggled to bring that same form here into the Ibex League. Now it is time for them to show their worth. And for Vision Gaming, it's time to show why they are the #1 power ranked team, why they are the most feared in Switzerland, and why they are and should be the victors of this game.
Yeah, well, it's all determined by who snaps, crackles, and pops through and gets the opening goal. mYinsanity have scored the opener in every game so far. And for once, I'd like to see Vision Gaming turn that stat around. But at the moment, I don't see it really happening. That 50 not too great. Narwhal will carry this and take it forward, but that midfield boost taken by, I think it was mYi there, will allow us to push forward. No, Zico playing under. Of course, Celt all sorts of trouble. Zico, you can't be playing the tee off from there. It's made things plenty awkward, and we're stuck in the corner once more.
Well, mYi going to be up for this. He's going to drop back, though, and Celt will take it from his back corner. I'll play the fake on the first. Try and get this one popped up. mYi waiting central. Reset attempted over Narwhal. Going to go low, though. mYlox picks it up. Both of these teams are fighting for possession, but the speed is key there, and then mYi will match it.
Celt, the pass to mYlox. Which means Zico will pick that one up on the front post. Gets 50 in the midfield. Celt with a good one. mYi should be there. Lack of boost, though. It was a dangerous push upfield again by mYi. Because if that touch came out, there was no way on God's green earth he'd managed to get back to save that. But it's an ambitious high line for Vision Gaming, and thankfully it's paying off for them at the moment. But Kiva will get that break, will get that carry downfield, gets a beat on Zico, but Celt on that back board will clear that one back down to the final third of mYinsanity.
Certainly will. Infield for Vision Gaming. mYi going to get that beat. That's a crucial beat now. Looks to try and double it past that defender on the back walls. Echo looks to get this one as well, but mYlox is going to be waiting. Celt going to turn. Somebody's got to challenge this for Vision Gaming, and Celt turns a little bit too late. mYi try and get it over to his teammate, but the speed is just better. It's faster for mYinsanity, and they're just locking up Vision Gaming where they stand. Narwhal drops down into that corner. Kiva infield looking to try and shoot it past mYi, but he's got that pre-jump read every single day.
Just under half a game gone, and we're still waiting for the first team to nestle a goal into the back of the net. We're sat in that midfield. Will it be Vision Gaming to take it? Who's to say? But that stat still looms over my head. It's still a dark stat to think about, and as this clock keeps ticking, I get more and more nervous about who's going to come out on top in this series. mYlox with a tap to the corner, and Celt will get this one clear. Narwhal with a touch, has control, doesn't really go for the flip reset, which is what you see most people do at that point, but end up just playing a touch, and it's left it awkward for mYinsanity. A pass inside, it's going to be a heavily committed third if Celt wanted to go for it. Thought better of it. The ball's fallen to him anyway. Will find the shot, and finally, that stat that I've been talking about for the past 4 games has now been reverted the way of Vision Gaming. We've scored first for the first time in this series.
Let's see. will that bring any sort of, victor to the situation here? Will that give them a little victory inside their minds that they've overcome what has been something that's struggled for them, so far to really strike first? Kiva on that side wall will pinch it out to mYinsanity, who has got this one over one, but can't quite get it over Celt because he stands tall. Now what, going to beat him to the punch. Zeko is waiting though. He's quite happy to take his time. Over the top of one, looking to play that 50, and it will go over to Maki, who gets this beat. But it's not comfortable, and mYinsanity are going to look to turn this one around. Infield pass, Kiva, bounce dribble, trying to get it over the top. Narwhal trying to slot it home, but Celt and Eyes on the goal line. And, I mean, yeah, Zeko also trying to run this downfield. This is looking a little bit better here for Vision Gaming.
All of a sudden the pressure stood up and mYinsanity looks like they need to pull a special kind of goal here. Seago does get beat out, the ball left openly in our corner once more. Narwhal has nothing to work with, but allows Seago to pick up the ball. Go for a 50, ends up demoing mYinsanity, and that is a misplay by Celt. That's dangerous! That's twice now I've seen that kind of play on the backboard, and it's maybe tense up entirely from head to toe, but it doesn't really matter. We're back in the final third of mYinsanity, cleared away by Kiva, but Celt's going to be there, sending it back towards net. mYinsanity will get a touch, and Kiva will get the clear, but we are keeping this offensive pressure. Finally, we are not really stressing on our back line anymore, and mYinsanity, they sat deep. They don't know how to get this ball out. Maggie will tip this high, looking for a second. Solo play at the ceiling, gets the 50, and Celt is there! 2-0! This game should be done and dusted now.
It certainly should, and what a way to do it. Maki reigniting a flame here for Vision Gaming with its long-time duo in Celt to hammer home the second and potentially knock mYinsanity out of contention unless they do something cool in the next 15 seconds, which they're getting blocked on every attempt. They're getting slammed in their face, and well, that timer is going to tick down. It's been a hard-fought series. The reverse sweep has been threatened, but backed into the corner, backed against the wall. Vision Gaming stand at the top of the mountain once again here, and they will knock out with a punch mYinsanity, no matter if they find a goal at the death there.
Goal at the death will mean that there was not a single clean sheet in this series. It tells you how much action we've had across the board. Vision Gaming take it 3-2. And well, the more we win, the more pressure we apply to T2 when it comes to week 7 as well. And yeah, absolutely perfect stuff. Okay, we kind of faltered in game 3 and 4. Again, I have no idea what happened there from an analytical standpoint. We just looked a bit shaky and didn't want to take the series to a full sweep, but we made an absolute hash of it. But after that, game 5, we switch back on, we lock back in, we take a 2-goal lead, and mYinsanity couldn't find their way back in.
Absolutely not, and what a win that is for Vision Gaming. I think we can maybe have a look at the league table and just see how that really affects things. I'm not sure if it's updated yet or not, but if it is, Casalian, roll the slide, and we'll have a look, because the league table certainly does get interesting here. And there we go, it is. mYinsanity in 6th place. Vision Gaming still in 2nd, on the charge to look for T2, and well, if they are able to win this next one and win one after that, I believe they would have the chance to knock T2 out of 1st place in a match afterwards. I don't know. KOM above mYinsanity is due to a tiebreaker, but yeah, it's a lot of maths, and I'm not the person to really do that. But it looks cool for Vision Gaming. mYinsanity not so much.
Thing is now, based on the standings, mYinsanity have dropped down based on head-to-head. They dropped down to 6th place because Nap of Money ended up beating mYinsanity 3-2. That was the one best. That was the other best of 5 that they ended up losing. But for Vision Gaming, if we beat Nap on Money here, no matter what the result, like as long as it's a win, and we head to T2 in week 7, it literally comes down to that for the top spot, because it's based on head-to-head.
I like that.
It comes right down to the final week on who gets top seed and who wins the league table. And that's pretty exciting. We just have to get a result against Nap on Money this week.
Yeah, and where's everybody else? They're in the dust. Look at this league table. The next closest team, ATE, 3 wins, 2 losses. I mean, although, you know, the table might not be fully updated, who cares? We'll live in a copium world, and we'll quite happily sit at the top of the table alongside T2 here. But yeah, Daramus, I believe we do have one more series today. It is against Napa Money, and it is something that we'll come back for very, very shortly. But until then, we're going to head to a quick break, and when we come back, it will be Napa Money versus Vision Gaming, a series to decide if Vision Gaming gets to fight for the top spot or if they're going to settle for second place. We'll see you very soon.